The Internet was built for surveillance. This theory posits that the Internet, the digital frontier that connects billions of people worldwide, wasn't originally designed for open communication or the free exchange of ideas. Instead, some believe that its true purpose was always surveillance, an extensive tool for governments and powerful organizations to monitor and control the population. The argument goes beyond the simple idea that governments might be tracking people online for safety or law enforcement purposes. It suggests that surveillance is woven into the very fabric of the Internet itself. The theory suggests that the Internet's infrastructure, designed and built by a combination of private corporations and government agencies, was never meant to be as decentralized and open as it is now. Some theorists claim that from its inception, the Internet was closely tied to military and intelligence agencies, with one of the primary goals being to create a global network that could monitor every user, every click, every search, and every interaction. The United States Department of Defense is often cited as the driving force behind the creation of the Internet, particularly its precursor, ARPANET, which was developed during the Cold War. The initial intent was military communication, but as the Internet expanded, the capacity for surveillance grew along with it. One of the most disturbing aspects of this theory is the idea that massive tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon are not just innocent players in a free market digital economy, but active participants in a system of surveillance. These companies gather vast amounts of personal data, from browsing habits to location data, and store it in enormous databases. The conspiracy theory holds that this data is often shared with governments, or even exploited for manipulation and control. Advertisers, social media platforms, and tech giants all play into a system where your every move is tracked. Additionally, the theory suggests that the very technologies that we rely on for convenience, smartphones, cloud computing, social media, are tools for surveillance. Modern apps, digital assistants, and smart devices are seen as listening devices, always collecting data in the background. Even the rise of facial recognition technology and ubiquitous cameras are believed to be part of a global monitoring system. While there's no definitive proof to support these claims, the theory taps into growing concerns about privacy in the digital age. Leaked documents, like the ones from Edward Snowden, which revealed the scale of government surveillance programs, have only fueled this belief. The theory suggests that while we are often told the Internet is a tool for freedom and connectivity, it may be part of a much darker plan, one where we are all being watched. Nephilim still exist. That's the intriguing conspiracy theory proposing that the ancient giants described in religious texts, known as the Nephilim, didn't simply vanish, but continue to live among us in secret. According to biblical accounts, the Nephilim were offspring of angels and humans, immense beings who once roamed the earth, dominating humanity with their great strength and supernatural power. Believers argue that these beings survived ancient cataclysms, hiding away from human society in remote locations, underground cities, or even adopting human appearances to blend seamlessly into modern life. They suggest evidence of Nephilim can be seen in individuals who display unusual height, strength, or abilities far beyond average human capabilities. Proponents also point to ancient structures, like megalithic monuments or enormous stone buildings worldwide, claiming these could only have been constructed by beings of immense size and strength, direct proof that Nephilim once influenced human civilizations. Critics dismiss the theory as imaginative speculation, viewing biblical references to Nephilim as symbolic or metaphorical rather than historical. They argue there's no credible scientific or archaeological evidence supporting the existence of giant hybrids today. Yet for believers, the continued existence of the Nephilim represents a hidden reality, a secret lineage quietly influencing human events from the shadows. They see uncovering the truth about these ancient beings as crucial, revealing not just a forgotten chapter of our history, but a hidden aspect of humanity itself. Jesus had alien DNA. That's the provocative conspiracy theory suggesting that Jesus Christ wasn't purely human or divine, but rather carried genetic material from extraterrestrial beings. Believers argue this explains the miraculous nature of his birth, his supernatural abilities, and his profound wisdom that seemed far ahead of his time. Supporters of the theory point to ancient biblical accounts of angels descending from the heavens, interpreting these stories as literal alien visitations. They propose that Mary's Immaculate Conception was actually an advanced genetic intervention performed by otherworldly visitors. According to this belief, Jesus was born as a hybrid, combining alien DNA with human genetics to guide humanity toward a higher spiritual or cosmic understanding. Proponents also cite ancient art depicting unusual aerial phenomena, suggesting these paintings capture real alien encounters. They argue that the Star of Bethlehem could have been a spacecraft guiding visitors from distant worlds. Believers claim hidden references and symbolism in religious texts offer clues about Jesus' extraterrestrial origins. Critics strongly dismiss the theory, seeing it as a modern reinterpretation of ancient religious narratives, mixing faith with science fiction. They argue these claims lack historical and scientific credibility, rooted instead in speculation and creative interpretation. Yet, for those convinced by this theory, viewing Jesus as an alien hybrid doesn't diminish his significance, it expands it. They believe it reveals a deeper truth about humanity's origins, purpose, and potential, suggesting our spiritual heritage may extend far beyond the confines of Earth itself. CERN merged our reality with another. That's the astonishing conspiracy theory, suggesting experiments conducted at CERN's Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland inadvertently cause parallel universes to blend, altering the reality we live in today. Believers argue that high-energy particle collisions at CERN to open a gateway between dimensions, merging aspects of different timelines and universes into our own. Supporters point to the rise of phenomena like the Mandela effect, where large groups collectively remember events differently, as proof of this reality shift. They believe subtle but noticeable inconsistencies in history, famous quotes, brand logos, and even geography emerged because our original timeline became entangled with another. Proponents claim CERN scientists, either deliberately or unknowingly, crossed a boundary humanity was never meant to breach, causing lasting distortions in the fabric of reality. They cite alleged strange events occurring around CERN, like unusual weather patterns or reports of paranormal phenomena, as further evidence of dimensional interference. Critics strongly dismiss this theory as speculative fiction, emphasizing that CERN's particle physics research poses no danger to reality itself. Scientists explain that so-called Mandela effects are simply collective memory errors or psychological illusions, not proof of parallel universes merging. Yet for those convinced, CERN's experiments represent an unprecedented tampering with existence, leaving humanity living in an altered timeline, one that feels subtly unfamiliar, forever changed by unseen cosmic forces. Hollow Earth. That's the captivating conspiracy theory proposing that the Earth isn't a solid sphere, but actually hollow, containing hidden civilizations, vast oceans, and even inner suns beneath our feet. Believers argue that advanced beings, or ancient civilizations, have existed within this concealed inner world for thousands of years, completely separate from life on the surface. Supporters claim historical accounts from explorers, myths, and legends all around the globe hinted hidden entrances to this subterranean realm, often located near the Earth's poles or within deep cave systems. They cite stories of secret expeditions, mysterious disappearances, and sightings of strange craft as evidence that certain groups or governments have already made contact with these inner Earth inhabitants. Proponents also reference Admiral Richard Byrd's controversial Antarctic expeditions, claiming his supposed encounters with advanced inner world beings were deliberately covered up by authorities. They believe the inner Earth might hold advanced technology, secret knowledge, or even extraterrestrial colonies hidden from public view. Critics strongly dismiss the hollow Earth theory, highlighting extensive geological research and seismic data confirming Earth's solid structure. They argue that scientific evidence unequivocally disproves the existence of an inner world beneath the planet's surface. Yet, for believers, the hollow Earth concept represents an extraordinary hidden reality, a secret civilization quietly existing right beneath humanity's feet, challenging everything we've been told about our planet and its true nature. Aliens built the pyramids. That's the captivating conspiracy theory, claiming Earth's most iconic ancient structures, such as Egypt's Great Pyramids, weren't built by human civilizations, but by extraterrestrial beings possessing advanced technology. Believers argue that the precision, engineering complexity, and sheer scale of these monuments were impossible to achieve with ancient tools alone, suggesting alien assistance or direct construction. Supporters point to unexplained alignment with celestial bodies, mathematical precision in pyramid dimensions, and ancient artwork depicting humanoid beings in strange crafts as evidence of alien involvement. They argue that humanity lacked the technological capability to quarry, transport, and assemble massive stone blocks, weighing several tons each without advanced help. Proponents also claim governments and historical institutions intentionally hide or ignore evidence supporting alien involvement, fearing the disclosure would undermine traditional history, religion, or cultural identity. Critics strongly reject this theory, emphasizing archaeological discoveries, showing how ancient civilizations used innovative yet entirely human techniques and labor to build pyramids. They assert that attributing ancient accomplishments to aliens undermines human ingenuity and effort. Yet, for believers, the idea that aliens built the pyramids represents more than just historical speculation. It symbolizes a profound connection between humanity and cosmic civilizations, quietly encoded into the very foundations of our ancient past. 5G causes illness. That's the controversial conspiracy theory, suggesting the latest generation of wireless technology, 5G, isn't simply a faster internet service, but a dangerous source of radiation capable of causing serious health problems. Believers argue that widespread exposure to 5G radiation weakens immune systems, triggers diseases, or even directly transmits harmful biological signals into the human body. Supporters claim that 5G towers, appearing suddenly in communities worldwide, emit frequencies far more intense than previous generations, allegedly disrupting human cells and DNA. They point to clusters of unexplained illnesses or health complaints appearing near new towers as evidence. Some even suggest 5G radiation contributed directly to the spread or severity of global pandemics like COVID-19, asserting that areas with heavy 5G infrastructure experienced worse outbreaks. Proponents also argue that governments and telecommunications companies deliberately hide these dangers, prioritizing profit and surveillance capabilities over public health and safety. Critics firmly dismiss the theory, citing extensive scientific studies and health guidelines showing that 5G operates well within safe radiation exposure limits. They emphasize that no credible evidence links 5G technology to illness or disease, labeling such claims as misinformation. Yet for those convinced, 5G represents a hidden danger, a silent, invisible threat, quietly invading homes and communities worldwide. They believe the health risks of 5G technology are intentionally concealed, leaving humanity unknowingly exposed to potentially catastrophic harm. Princess Diana was murdered. It's one of the most enduring conspiracy theories surrounding the tragic death of the Princess of Wales. The official story is that Diana died in a car crash in Paris on August 31st, 1997. She was in a Mercedes with her companion, Dodi Al-Fayed, when the car crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The crash, according to the authorities, was caused by the driver, Henry Paul, who was intoxicated and driving at high speed to evade the paparazzi. But this version of events has been fiercely disputed. The conspiracy theory suggests that Diana's death wasn't an accident at all. Some claim that she was murdered, orchestrated by the British royal family, the government, or a combination of powerful elites. One of the most common assertions is that the royal family could not accept Diana's increasing independence, her public separation from Prince Charles, and her relationships with Muslim men, particularly Dodi Al-Fayed. The theory proposes that her death was a way of silencing her. Several aspects of the case fuel these suspicions. The fact that the crash occurred in the dead of night, with an urgent police response, raises eyebrows. The absence of visible signs of life when emergency services arrived, despite early reports of Diana's movement, led some to question the official account. Additionally, Diana's body was embalmed quickly, something unusual for a high-profile death, leading to speculation that the authorities were trying to cover up evidence. The theory also hinges on the presence of a white Fiat Uno, which allegedly collided with Diana's car before it crashed. The car and its driver were never found, further stoking suspicions that the crash was not a random accident. Perhaps most controversially, the theory suggests that Diana left behind cryptic messages implying her death had been planned. In a letter she wrote to her butler, she referred to an accident that might be staged to kill her. Critics of the official account argue that this is no mere coincidence. In the years following her death, investigations were launched and inquiries were made, but no definitive proof of foul play has surfaced. Yet, for many, the unanswered questions surrounding Diana's death remain a mystery, one that fuels the idea that her death was no accident. Avril Lavigne was replaced. That's the popular conspiracy theory, claiming the Canadian singer Avril Lavigne secretly died in the early 2000s and was replaced by a lookalike named Melissa Vandella. Believers argue the real Avril passed away shortly after her rise to fame, and to maintain her successful career, record labels quietly replaced her with Melissa, who continued to perform under Avril's identity. Supporters point to subtle differences in Avril's appearance, style, voice, and personality after her early albums as evidence of the switch. They claim birthmarks and facial features appear inconsistent, lyrics hint at hidden truths, and even that Avril's handwriting changed over time. Proponents argue Avril's abrupt shift in musical style and public persona is further proof of the replacement. Believers also suggest cryptic references hidden within Avril's lyrics and music videos reveal the truth about her alleged death, expressing the imposter's guilt or sadness about taking over another person's life. Critics strongly dismiss the theory, attributing changes in Avril's appearance and style to natural aging, artistic evolution, or shifts in fashion trends. They highlight a lack of credible evidence supporting the supposed death or existence of Melissa Vandella. Yet for believers, the theory represents more than celebrity gossip. It symbolizes hidden manipulations within the entertainment industry, raising unsettling questions about identity, authenticity, and just how far record labels might go to preserve fame and fortune. Paul McCartney died in 1966. That's the legendary conspiracy theory, claiming that Paul McCartney, iconic member of the Beatles, secretly passed away in a car crash at the height of the band's fame and was covertly replaced by a look-alike to avoid devastating their millions of fans. Believers argue the Beatles themselves tried to subtly reveal the truth through hidden clues and symbolism in album artwork, lyrics, and music played backward. Supporters point to clues such as the famous Abbey Road album cover, suggesting Paul walking barefoot symbolized him as a corpse. They reference lyrics from songs like Strawberry Fields Forever, where some listeners claim to hear the phrase, "I buried Paul," in the background. Believers assert subtle differences in Paul's appearance, voice, and musical style after 1966 further support the theory. Proponents argue this supposed replacement was orchestrated by record labels or intelligence agencies to preserve the Beatles' global influence and avoid widespread grief or chaos caused by the sudden loss of McCartney. Critics dismiss these claims entirely, emphasizing Paul McCartney's continued public life and performances for decades as proof the theory lacks credibility. They explain alleged clues as coincidental, artistic experimentation, or playful humor from the band itself. Yet for those convinced, the Paul is dead theory represents a profound hidden secret within popular culture, an eerie mystery that persists, blurring the lines between reality, myth, and the powerful desire to uncover truths hidden in plain sight. Cloud seeding for weather control. That's the fascinating conspiracy theory, suggesting governments and organizations secretly manipulate the weather by releasing chemicals into clouds, altering natural rainfall patterns and climate conditions. Believers argue this technology, known as cloud seeding, is not merely a scientific experiment, but a hidden form of environmental control or even weather warfare. Supporters claim that chemicals like silver iodide, dry ice, or various aerosol substances are deliberately dispersed by aircraft into cloud formations, prompting artificial precipitation or suppressing rainfall. They point to sudden, unusual weather patterns, persistent droughts, or unexpected floods as evidence of these secret weather modification activities. Proponents believe cloud seeding isn't limited to agricultural or humanitarian purposes, but can also be weaponized, used to cause natural disasters, weaken adversaries, or influence geopolitical outcomes. They argue powerful nations already engage in covert climate manipulation programs, maintaining secrecy to avoid international scrutiny and backlash. Critics acknowledge cloud seeding is a genuine scientific practice used openly to increase rainfall in drought-stricken regions, but reject claims of secretive, widespread, or malicious use. Scientists emphasize the limited effectiveness of current technology and the complexity of weather systems, dismissing allegations of large-scale manipulation. Yet for those convinced, cloud seeding symbolizes a troubling reality, hidden powers capable of controlling nature itself, quietly shaping global climate behind the scenes, while humanity remains largely unaware of the true extent and intentions behind weather manipulation. The Black Knight satellite. That's the mysterious conspiracy theory alleging that an alien spacecraft, known as the Black Knight satellite, has silently orbited Earth for over 13,000 years, secretly monitoring humanity. Believers argue this enigmatic object is proof of ancient extraterrestrial presence, suggesting it transmits signals or gathers data on Earth's civilizations. Supporters point to unusual sightings and photos from NASA missions, claiming these images capture a large, dark, unknown object in Earth's orbit. They assert that reports of unexplained radio signals, particularly those allegedly detected by inventor Nikola Tesla originated from this ancient satellite. Proponents argue that governments and space agencies are fully aware of the satellite's existence, but deliberately keep it hidden from the public. Believers also suggest ancient myths and historical accounts describing sky gods, flying chariots, or heavenly messengers hint at humanity's long-term observation by alien beings, possibly linked to this mysterious satellite. Critics dismiss the theory entirely, attributing supposed sightings of the Black Knight satellite to misidentified space debris, thermal blankets, or photographic errors. They emphasize the lack of credible scientific evidence proving any artificial object in Earth's orbit predating human technology. Yet, for those convinced, the Black Knight satellite represents humanity's oldest unsolved mystery, a silent watcher observing our evolution through millennia, quietly orbiting our world, waiting for the right moment to reveal its purpose. Vaccines contain microchips. That's the controversial conspiracy theory claiming vaccines, especially recent ones like COVID-19 vaccines, secretly contain microscopic tracking devices or microchips. Believers argue these tiny devices are injected into people's bodies to allow governments, corporations, or global elites to monitor, track, and control individuals worldwide. Supporters point to statements made by influential figures or misinterpreted scientific research as supposed evidence that microchips could be embedded in vaccine solutions. They fear vaccines are not simply for health protection, but tools for mass surveillance, personal data collection, and even population manipulation through remote technologies. Proponents argue that the push for mandatory or widespread vaccination programs is suspicious, seeing it as part of a larger agenda aimed at eroding personal freedoms and creating total societal control. They highlight rapid advancements in nanotechnology and biometrics as proof that embedding microchips in vaccines is technologically possible. Critics strongly dismiss these claims as baseless misinformation, emphasizing rigorous vaccine testing, transparency in vaccine development, and the physical impossibility of injecting functional tracking devices through standard vaccination needles. They warn that spreading these theories endangers public health by undermining trust in life-saving medical interventions. Yet for those convinced, the theory of microchips hidden within vaccines represents a frightening scenario, a world where personal autonomy and privacy are quietly stripped away, disguised as healthcare, leaving humanity permanently under unseen surveillance. Men in Black are real. That's the mysterious conspiracy theory, suggesting that shadowy figures known as the Men in Black genuinely exist, actively intimidating witnesses who encounter UFOs or other unexplained phenomena. Believers argue these enigmatic agents appear unexpectedly after extraordinary events, warning individuals to remain silent about what they've seen. Supporters describe Men in Black as eerie, often emotionless individuals dressed in black suits, sunglasses, and hats. They are said to display unusual behaviors, speak in mechanical tones, and sometimes possess supernatural abilities or knowledge about witnesses' personal lives. Believers claim encounters with these agents leave witnesses feeling confused, fearful, or even physically ill. Proponents argue the Men in Black operate as part of a secretive government agency or possibly represent extraterrestrial entities themselves, assigned to conceal evidence of alien visitations or advanced technologies from the public. They suggest these agents manipulate, threaten, or erase the memories of witnesses to maintain secrecy. Critics view Men in Black stories as imaginative folklore influenced by popular media, urban legends, and misinterpretations of encounters with ordinary government agents or investigators. They argue that no credible evidence confirms the existence of such an agency. Yet for believers, The men in black represent something profoundly disturbing, a hidden force operating behind society's curtain, dedicated to ensuring the truth about UFOs and extraterrestrial life remains permanently obscured. The CIA created AIDS. That's the controversial conspiracy theory, alleging that the Central Intelligence Agency deliberately manufactured and released the HIV virus to target specific populations. Believers argue that AIDS was intentionally engineered in secret government laboratories, with the goal of population control or destabilizing particular communities. Supporters claim the virus was purposefully introduced into vulnerable populations in Africa or among minority groups in the United States through contaminated vaccines, medical experiments, or biological warfare programs. They reference historical cases of unethical medical research, such as the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, as evidence that government agencies have conducted secret, harmful operations before. Proponents argue that the rapid and devastating spread of HIV/AIDS in specific regions or demographics was not accidental, but rather carefully planned to weaken or eliminate marginalized communities, reducing their political and social influence. Critics firmly reject this theory, pointing to extensive scientific research showing that HIV evolved naturally from primate viruses. They highlight genetic evidence clearly tracing the virus's origins back to natural transmission events, dismissing claims of intentional human intervention as baseless and dangerous misinformation. Yet, for those convinced, the theory symbolizes a dark hidden chapter of history, one where government power is used to secretly manipulate health and populations, leaving lasting questions about trust, transparency, and the true origins of devastating global diseases. Hollywood celebrities are clones. That's the intriguing conspiracy theory suggesting some famous actors, musicians, and entertainers aren't real individuals at all, but genetically engineered replicas, created and controlled by powerful forces in the entertainment industry. Believers argue that cloning technology has secretly advanced far beyond what's publicly known, allowing influential groups to produce exact duplicates of popular stars. Supporters claim cloning explains celebrities' sudden changes in appearance, behavior, or personality, suggesting original stars may have been quietly replaced after death, injury, or simply to better manage their careers. They often reference artists who publicly mention feeling controlled, express strange behavior, or suffer dramatic transformations as evidence they've been replaced by clones. Proponents argue cloned celebrities are easier to manipulate, ensuring their image remains profitable and appealing, while originals, who might rebel or break free, are quietly removed or replaced. Critics strongly dismiss this theory as imaginative fiction, emphasizing the scientific impossibility and ethical implausibility of cloning entire human beings without public detection. They suggest the theory is a modern urban legend, born from misunderstanding celebrity lifestyles or simply speculation. Yet, for those convinced, the celebrity cloning theory reveals a hidden reality, one where fame and fortune come at a dark price, leaving stars as mere puppets controlled by powerful unseen hands, all while audiences unknowingly watch the manufactured illusion unfold. NASA hides alien life. That's the widely debated conspiracy theory, suggesting NASA has secretly discovered extraterrestrial life, but deliberately conceals the truth from the public. Believers argue that despite public claims of searching for alien civilizations, NASA has long possessed evidence of intelligent life elsewhere, hidden within classified missions, censored photographs, and restricted documents. Supporters point to alleged anomalies in NASA images, like unusual shapes on Mars, mysterious lights observed by astronauts, or abrupt interruptions in live feeds from space missions, as proof that alien encounters are actively covered up. They argue NASA intentionally distorts or obscures photographic evidence, claiming technical issues or natural phenomena to explain away sightings that reveal the presence of advanced beings. Proponents suggest the secrecy is motivated by fears of mass panic, religious unrest, or a desire to control potential alien technology and knowledge for military advantage. They claim astronauts themselves have witnessed extraterrestrial craft or beings, but are sworn to secrecy by NASA. Critics reject this theory as baseless speculation, emphasizing NASA's transparency and the rigorous scrutiny scientific discoveries undergo. They argue anomalies cited by conspiracy theorists are simply misunderstood natural phenomena or photographic errors, yet for believers, the idea that NASA hides alien life represents a profound hidden truth, proof humanity isn't alone, quietly concealed behind layers of secrecy, waiting to be revealed. Secret Mars colonies. That's the compelling conspiracy theory, claiming that humans have already established hidden colonies on Mars, operating secretly for decades without public knowledge. Believers argue these covert settlements are part of classified government or corporate programs designed to explore and colonize the Red Planet ahead of any official missions. Supporters suggest that advanced spacecraft technologies, far beyond what's publicly acknowledged, have allowed secret human travel to Mars since as early as the 1960s. They claim former government employees, astronauts, and whistleblowers have spoken out about their participation in classified Mars missions, describing underground bases, advanced research facilities, and extensive settlements on the Martian surface. Proponents also point to alleged anomalies in NASA imagery, like suspicious structures or unnatural formations, as evidence of existing Martian colonies hidden from public view. They argue governments and space agencies deliberately maintain secrecy to preserve technological advantages, conceal extraterrestrial encounters, or avoid political scrutiny. Critics dismiss the theory entirely, emphasizing the logistical, technological, and financial impossibility of secretly maintaining colonies on Mars without detection. They highlight the extensive global observation of space missions, making secret launches or hidden settlements virtually impossible. Yet, for those convinced, secret Mars colonies symbolize a hidden future already unfolding, humanity's quiet expansion into the cosmos, concealed from the public eye, revealing how little we may truly know about our presence in space. Aliens built the pyramids. That's the captivating conspiracy theory, claiming Earth's most iconic ancient structures, such as Egypt's Great Pyramids, weren't built by human civilizations, but by extraterrestrial beings possessing advanced technology. Believers argue that the precision, engineering complexity, and sheer scale of these monuments were impossible to achieve with ancient tools alone, suggesting alien assistance or direct construction. Supporters point to unexplained alignment with celestial bodies, mathematical precision in pyramid dimensions, and ancient artwork depicting humanoid beings in strange crafts as evidence of alien involvement. They argue that humanity lacked the technological capability to quarry, transport, and assemble massive stone blocks, weighing several tons each without advanced help. Proponents also claim governments and historical institutions intentionally hide or ignore evidence supporting alien involvement, fearing the disclosure would undermine traditional history, religion, or cultural identity. Critics strongly reject this theory, emphasizing archaeological discoveries, showing how ancient civilizations used innovative yet entirely human techniques and labor to build pyramids. They assert that attributing ancient accomplishments to aliens undermines human ingenuity and effort. Yet, for believers, the idea that aliens built the pyramids represents more than just historical speculation. It symbolizes a profound connection between humanity and cosmic civilizations, quietly encoded into the very foundations of our ancient past. Time travelers exist. That's the intriguing conspiracy theory, suggesting individuals from the future secretly travel back in time, interacting with or observing key historical events without our knowledge. Believers argue that advanced civilizations, future governments, or even secretive groups have mastered time travel technology, allowing them to quietly alter or protect historical timelines. Supporters often point to supposed photographic evidence showing individuals wearing modern clothing or using futuristic devices in historical settings as proof of time travelers blending into the past. They also highlight mysterious individuals who've allegedly predicted future events with uncanny accuracy, suggesting insider knowledge accessible only through time travel. Proponents argue that some historical anomalies, strange disappearances, or unexplained occurrences are direct results of temporal interference, either intentional corrections or accidental side effects from these secret journeys. Critics firmly dismiss time travel claims, emphasizing the physical and theoretical impossibility of traveling backward in time, according to current scientific understanding. They attribute alleged evidence to coincidences, misunderstandings, or outright hoaxes. Yet for believers, the existence of time travelers represents something profound, a hidden layer of reality, where past, present, and future intertwine, quietly influencing history from behind a veil of secrecy, leaving humanity unaware of how frequently timelines might be rewritten. The Simpsons predict the future. That's the fascinating conspiracy theory, claiming the long-running animated TV series, The Simpsons, repeatedly predicts real-world events years before they occur. Believers argue these predictions are too accurate and frequent to be mere coincidences, suggesting hidden knowledge, secret information, or even insider influence behind the scenes. Supporters point to numerous examples, such as the show's uncanny depiction of Donald Trump's presidency, the discovery of the Higgs boson particle, and even unexpected sports victories, all appearing in episodes long before these events took place in reality. They argue this consistent pattern demonstrates that writers have access to classified information, insider knowledge, or perhaps even possess prophetic abilities. Proponents speculate that the creators of The Simpsons may deliberately embed hints or warnings about future events, subtly preparing audiences, or secretly communicating knowledge through humor and satire. They also theorize that some episodes are being used as predictive programming, influencing public perceptions to accept future realities. Critics dismiss these claims as cherry-picking, selecting specific coincidences from thousands of episodes filled with social commentary and humorous scenarios. They emphasize that given the show's longevity, some of its predictions inevitably match real-life outcomes by chance alone. Yet for believers, The Simpsons' eerie predictions symbolize a hidden connection between popular culture and future reality, a strange phenomenon suggesting deeper truths quietly revealed through cartoons, blurring the line between entertainment and prophecy. The wow signal was first contact. That's the intriguing conspiracy theory suggesting the mysterious radio signal known as the wow signal, detected by astronomers in 1977, was humanity's first documented message from extraterrestrial intelligence. Believers argue this unexplained, powerful radio burst from deep space wasn't just random interference, but a deliberate communication attempt from another civilization. Supporters highlight that the signal's characteristics closely matched expectations of an artificial extraterrestrial message. It lasted exactly 72 seconds, originated from a fixed point in the constellation Sagittarius, and exhibited a clear, organized pattern, unlike natural cosmic sources. They believe the brief but strong transmission was an intentional greeting, possibly testing our ability to detect intelligent signals. Proponents claim that governments or scientific institutions intentionally downplayed the significance of the wow signal to avoid global panic or disruption. They argue further communication attempts or additional evidence were quietly hidden or ignored, keeping humanity unaware of confirmed extraterrestrial contact. Critics reject the theory, pointing out that extensive follow-up observations failed to detect any repetition of the signal, suggesting a natural transient source. Scientists maintain the wow signal remains unexplained, but emphasize there's no concrete proof of alien origin. Yet, for believers, the wow signal represents a profound missed opportunity, humanity's first encounter with intelligent life quietly silenced, leaving us forever wondering about the mysterious message sent from the stars. COVID-19 was planned. That's the controversial conspiracy theory, claiming the global pandemic caused by the COVID-19 virus wasn't a natural disaster or random outbreak, but a carefully orchestrated event by powerful groups for political, economic, or social control. Believers argue that the virus's spread, the media response, and the resulting global lockdowns followed a suspiciously coordinated script. Supporters point to early patents related to coronavirus research, high-level pandemic simulations like Event 201, and rapid government responses as signs of premeditation. They argue the crisis was used to implement mass surveillance, enforce population control, and transfer unprecedented wealth and power to elites under the guise of public health. Proponents claim that global institutions, pharmaceutical companies, and certain world governments used the pandemic to reshape economic systems, limit civil liberties, and push agendas like digital identification, mandatory vaccinations, and centralized authority. Some suggest the virus was lab-engineered and released intentionally, while others believe it was allowed to spread unchecked for strategic purposes. Critics strongly reject these theories, citing the overwhelming scientific evidence that COVID-19 emerged through natural transmission. They warn that misinformation surrounding the virus endangers public health, discredits science, and exploits fear and confusion during a global crisis. Yet for those convinced, the idea that COVID-19 was planned reflects a deeper suspicion of global power, raising uncomfortable questions about how crises are managed, who benefits, and whether the world we live in is shaped more by intention than by accident. The Georgia Guidestones were a globalist manifesto. That's the conspiracy theory, claiming the mysterious granite monument in Elbert County, Georgia, wasn't just a public art project or philosophical statement. It was a coded set of instructions for a future New World Order. Believers argue the Guidestones were built by elites to outline their long-term agenda for global control, population reduction, and centralized governance. The monument, often called the American Stonehenge, displayed 10 commandments written in 8 modern languages and 4 ancient scripts. The most controversial was the first maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Supporters of the theory believe this wasn't a suggestion, it was a warning. They argue it reveals a desire to drastically reduce the global population, potentially through war, engineered diseases, or sterilization programs. Proponents also point to the anonymity of the monument's creators. It was commissioned in 1979 by a man using the pseudonym R.C. Christian, a name many believe references the Rosicrucians, a secretive esoteric order linked to Freemasonry and other occult traditions. The cryptic nature of its origin fuels the belief that the Guidestones were the work of a shadowy group with far-reaching influence. Critics argue the monument was nothing more than a privately funded philosophical message about sustainability, not a roadmap for authoritarian control. They emphasize that the Guidestones had no political power and were vandalized and ultimately destroyed in 2022. Yet for believers, The Georgia Guidestones stand as a chilling glimpse into a hidden plan for humanity's future, etched in stone by those who intended to shape it without our consent. The Titanic was switched. That's the conspiracy theory, claiming the ship that sank in 1912 wasn't actually the Titanic, but its nearly identical sister ship, the Olympic, disguised for an insurance scam. Believers argue that White Star Line, the company that owned both vessels, orchestrated the switch to recover losses from the damaged Olympic while preserving the Titanic's clean image. Supporters point to similarities in the two ships' design and the timing of events leading up to the disaster. They claim the Olympic had suffered significant structural damage in a previous collision and was no longer seaworthy. Instead of scrapping it, the theory suggests the Olympic was altered just enough to pass as the Titanic and sent on its doomed maiden voyage. Proponents also highlight discrepancies in surviving passenger testimonies, odd maintenance records, and photos that show supposed inconsistencies in the Titanic's windows, layout, and equipment. They argue the sinking was carefully planned to look like a tragic accident, allowing the company to claim massive insurance money while eliminating a financial burden. Critics dismiss the theory, pointing to extensive documentation, construction records, and physical evidence from the wreckage site that confirm the ship was indeed the Titanic. They explain the minor differences as normal variations between sister ships and refute the idea that such a complex switch could have gone unnoticed by the crew and passengers. Yet for those who believe, the Titanic switch theory represents a shadowy deception at sea, a tale where greed, cover-ups, and calculated sacrifice may have steered the most famous shipwreck in history. Area 51 holds alien technology. That's the legendary conspiracy theory claiming that Area 51, a highly secretive military base located in Nevada, secretly stores and studies advanced extraterrestrial technology recovered from crashed alien spacecraft. Believers argue the US government has hidden proof of alien life inside this guarded facility for decades, performing classified experiments and reverse engineering technology from other worlds. Supporters reference eyewitness accounts from alleged former employees, claiming to have seen alien craft, recovered bodies, or participated in secret projects focused on extraterrestrial propulsion and energy systems. They point to the mysterious events of Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, where a supposed alien craft crashed, as the starting point for Area 51's hidden alien artifacts. Proponents argue intense security, restricted airspace, and military secrecy surrounding the base confirm its role as the primary location for studying alien technology. They believe discoveries from these secret programs explain rapid technological advancements in areas like stealth aircraft, drones, and advanced propulsion systems. Critics dismiss these theories as unfounded, explaining Area 51's secrecy as typical of any secure military installation. They suggest supposed alien sightings or technology tests are misinterpretations of experimental aircraft or classified projects unrelated to extraterrestrials. Yet, for those convinced, Area 51 symbolizes the ultimate hidden truth, an unseen reality of alien visitation concealed deep within a government facility, waiting silently beneath Nevada's desert sands. MK Ultra mind control. It's a conspiracy theory that points to the idea that the CIA has long been involved in secret experiments to control the human mind, manipulating individuals for covert purposes. MK Ultra is the code name for a series of covert mind control experiments conducted by the CIA from the early 1950s to the 1970s. The goal was to explore ways of using drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and other psychological techniques to control or influence the behavior of individuals, often without their knowledge or consent. The experiments primarily involved the use of LSD, a powerful hallucinogenic drug. The CIA hoped that by controlling the mind with LSD and other substances, they could create sleeper agents, people who would carry out tasks without realizing it. One of the most chilling aspects of the MK Ultra program was the manipulation of both voluntary and involuntary subjects, many of whom were unaware they were being tested on. Prisoners, mental patients, and even unsuspecting civilians were used as subjects in these experiments, sometimes without their consent. But the experiments didn't stop with just drugs. MK Ultra researchers also experimented with hypnosis, isolation, sensory deprivation, and psychological abuse in attempts to break down and reprogram the human mind. The idea was to create a person who could be controlled, programmed, and used for espionage or covert operations. The scope of the project was far-reaching, involving various universities, research institutions, and even hospitals across the United States and Canada. In the 1970s, after the program was exposed and congressional investigations were launched, MK Ultra was officially shut down. But many still believe the CIA's efforts to control the human mind didn't end there. Some theorists claim that the program continues today, that the government is still experimenting with new techniques to manipulate and control individuals, or even entire populations. What makes MK Ultra such a persistent conspiracy theory is the lack of transparency surrounding the program. Although documents have been declassified over the years, much of the program remains shrouded in secrecy, with many files destroyed before investigations could reach their full scope. This has left ample room for speculation and doubt. For many, the true extent of MK Ultra remains one of the most unsettling chapters in the history of government secrecy and human experimentation. The deep state. This theory suggests the existence of a shadowy, unelected group of powerful individuals who secretly control the government and its policies, regardless of who holds the office of president or other elected positions. According to the theory, this deep state operates behind the scenes, pulling the strings of political and economic decisions, often in ways that benefit its own interests, and outside the control of the general public. The core of the deep state theory is the belief that the government, particularly in powerful nations like the United States, is not truly in the hands of elected officials, but is instead run by a network of elites, intelligence agencies, bureaucrats, corporate giants, and military officials. These individuals, some argue, have more power than elected representatives and can manipulate government policies to serve their hidden agendas. They believe that these groups often have their own global or national goals, which may not align with the interests of the average citizen. One key aspect of the deep state theory is its connection to secrecy. Proponents of the theory point to the covert nature of intelligence agencies like the CIA, FBI, or MI6 as evidence of an elite power structure operating outside the boundaries of public accountability. The existence of secret programs, shadowy meetings, and classified information further strengthens the idea that the true decisions are made behind closed doors. A major component of the deep state narrative is its supposed ability to operate independently of elected governments. Supporters of the theory claim that no matter who is elected to office, whether conservative or liberal, Democrat or Republican, the same powerful individuals continue to exert influence, ensuring that policies remain favorable to their interests. The election of political figures is seen as symbolic, a show for the public, while the real decisions are made by this hidden network. This conspiracy theory gained considerable attention in recent years, particularly in the context of political movements and whistleblower revelations. The idea has been popularized by the belief that presidents or leaders who challenge the establishment often face resistance from these powerful unseen forces. In extreme cases, the deep state is even accused of orchestrating events, manipulating media, or sabotaging political careers to maintain control. While no concrete evidence of a singular deep state has ever emerged, the theory persists because of its appeal to the public's mistrust of political institutions, secrecy, and the belief that there are powerful forces beyond their control. Whether rooted in paranoia or a reflection of real-world power dynamics, the theory remains a central narrative for those who feel that democracy is not as transparent or accountable as it should be. Fluoride in the water. This theory suggests that the addition of fluoride to public drinking water supplies is part of a covert government effort to control or manipulate the population. While fluoride is commonly added to water to prevent tooth decay, some believe that the true reasons for its widespread use are far darker. According to this theory, the government, in collaboration with powerful pharmaceutical or industrial interests, intentionally adds fluoride to water to reduce intelligence, weaken resistance, or even alter people's behavior. The conspiracy theory claims that the idea of adding fluoride to public water supplies was not driven by public health, but by the desire to create a more docile and controllable population. Proponents argue that fluoride has a toxic effect on the brain, particularly in children, leading to lower IQs and increased rates of mental health disorders. Studies showing potential links between high levels of fluoride exposure and neurological damage are often cited as evidence for these claims. One of the more extreme versions of this theory goes even further, asserting that fluoride is a form of population control or mind manipulation. Some argue that the fluoride being added to drinking water is the result of a covert, decades-long plan to dumb down the population, making them more susceptible to control by powerful elites. The theory suggests that this is a quiet, insidious form of social engineering that impacts billions of people worldwide without their knowledge. The history of fluoride in water also fuels suspicion. Fluoride's use in water treatment began in the mid-20th century, with government and health organizations promoting it as a safe and effective way to prevent cavities. However, detractors question the motives behind its widespread adoption, particularly given its use in industrial processes, such as aluminum production, where fluoride was a byproduct. Some theorists believe that the fluoride was simply dumped into public water systems as a cost-effective way to dispose of this industrial waste. While mainstream science generally supports the use of fluoride as a public health measure, the conspiracy theory continues to find followers, especially among those who distrust government agencies or pharmaceutical companies. The theory is also bolstered by concerns over the ethics of mass medication. For those who believe in this theory, the addition of fluoride to drinking water represents a sinister, hidden agenda, one that manipulates people's health and minds for the benefit of unseen powers. Despite the lack of solid evidence supporting the claims, the theory endures, driven by fears of governmental control, corporate greed, and the potential dangers of long-term exposure to fluoride.